So, welcome to this session on practical strategies in translation. In this session, we will explore a variety of strategies that can be put into practice when engaging in the subconscious-like tasks related to translation. The reason I say subconscious-like tasks is as when you advance through your career as a translator, these are decisions that just happen and become second nature to you, things we don't need to refer back to as specific terms or strategies per se. So this session will help you a lot in understanding the activities that you will have to complete in this module, and it will let you become one with the mind of a translator in understanding with greater ease how translation decisions are made and how this task is far more complex than one might think. So the objectives of today's session is to gain some knowledge and appreciation of the meaning of translation or translating, to gain some knowledge of the strategies that can be applied when approaching a translation to make it more natural, applying that knowledge for the appreciation of a piece of a translation, and applying knowledge of translation strategies to approach your own translation when carrying that out. So, what does it mean to translate? Well, translation can be compared to an iceberg at times. What we see is only a minimal fraction of what actually is taking place at the moment in which a translation occurs. So, considering that our finished project, as well as it is achieved, is only what we see above the surface. So everything below is a representation of our plans, training, investigation, knowledge, and even our own credibility. So the work of a translator is 100% underestimated and does not receive the credit that it deserves at times. So there are many questions we need to ask ourselves as translators, questions which, we need to be aware of when starting out. So these are questions such as, what kind of translation should I be involved in? Do I translate words I see? Do I translate the understanding I have of those words? All of these questions posed, when approaching a text arise when we're examining it for the first time. So a competent translator asks themselves, they subconsciously know that their loyalty to a text is at message level, and with the purpose of reproducing a clean and authentic work that resembles the original with respect to message and context. So as translators, we need to be loyal to a text, but not at word level. So we need to ensure that the writer or the creator's intent is being transmitted and that it is being transmitted in the most natural way possible. So it is at this moment that collocations come into play. So for those of you who are not aware, collocations are the natural manners in which language occurs. So for example, in English, it is more common to say give or assign homework, whereas in Spanish, you could also use the verb poner, which in English would be to put homework. So collocation would be how we say it naturally in a particular language. So collocations are of utmost importance when transmitting your impeccable linguistic knowledge of a language. And it is for this reason that a translator would usually translate into their own native language. So the bigger question is, how do I achieve all of these things at the same time? Well, to be honest, it boils down to knowing your text, your public, the target language, and of equal and not necessary greater importance, having a high level of competence in target language of the text. So in order to succeed in achieving a translated text that is loyal to its original, many different practical strategies can be applied so that the text is deemed natural and authentic. Some of the strategies that we identify and learn throughout this module are those stated in this slide right here. So these are strategies recommended by Vinay and Darbalent, 1958. They refer to them as translation procedures, and you're going to learn a lot about them throughout this course. So we have different strategies here, and they would lead us to understanding why we place different words for different phrases and why we make particular translation decisions. So I'm going to let you learn about these different procedures throughout the activities you carry out during this course, but I want to just give you a little taster before you get started. So moving on to the next slide, if we take a look at these ones here. Why is it that if we have the translation in Spanish, for example, of bread, in English it's bread, in Spanish it's pan. In English we have water, in Spanish they have agua. In Spanish they have taco, and in English we have taco. Why does that happen? Why is it that we don't have a word for this? Is there a particular strategy or procedure that says this is what we should do here? You know, you're going to learn about that throughout this course. Take a look at the next example. Cuando sale el sol. When the sun rises. Why do we say rise in English but say sale in Spanish? Why can't we just say comes out, when the sun comes out? Okay, so we're going to learn about what strategy or procedure tells us that this is the right decision to make. What about if we think of a phrase in English? A stitch in time saves 9 rather than time, it should say there. Why would we say más vale prevenir que lamentar? Why would we say that? Why don't we just translate a stitch in time saves 9? So these are the different procedures that you're going to be looking at through this course, why it is that we make these types of decisions, and how can we apply them to our own practice. So just going back to that there again, this module is going to focus on these different procedures, why they're used, how they can be explained, and also how you can then relate them to your everyday translation decisions. So hopefully this has served as a good introduction to this topic, and hopefully your participation with the activities will help you understand the reasoning behind a translator's translation decisions and gain a little more insight into the underestimated task a translator undergoes at the moment in translating. So thank you very much.